Hi. Hello. Oh, my eyes are tearing up. Oh, lordy lord. And I'm so unprepared. I've got like half an hour. My god. What's it called? What's it called? What's it called? There is a slight possibility that I'm making this video to show off my new LED light. That is for me to know and for you to never find out. So today I'm doing the it's the mid-year freakout tag. That's what it is. We've done this since Lord knows when. Well, not me. Everyone else has done this since Lord knows when. I'm not sure if people are still doing it. I've seen a couple, and then I've seen a lot of people not do them, but they're fun and it's a tag and it's super easy to do because you don't have to think of anything. So that's what we're gonna do because I am just in that mind space right now. I want to talk about books, but I'm also not in a wrap-up mode. I've also just been not reading as much as I wish to be reading. So this'll just be a little conversation we have. Okay? Okay, cool. The first question is the best book you've read so far in 2021. So I'm gonna have to go into my Goodreads for this. Oh god, it's depressing out here. I'm having a little bit of a depressing reading year this year, unsurprisingly, considering I read so much last year and this year I'm studying. I'm just not gonna provide explanations. It's been a shit reading year. It has. So I don't have a great answer for this question. I have a book I read that made me think a lot, which is War is a Racket by Smedley D. Butler. Yep, that's his name. Which was written in between World War I and World War II, and he just talks about how the war machine keeps working and everything to do with that. It's a really short book. I think it was originally a speech that was turned into a book, and I really did like that one. The number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2021, and for this I prepared more or less. It was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I read the entire Cruel Prince trilogy this year. Well, I say this year. I read this in January. All of the books on my Goodreads right now I read in like January and February, and since then it's just been quietness. Queen of Nothing, great book. I really like the fact, well, I mean, I did a wrap-up on this a while back. I don't know if it's still on my channel. I've been deleting and then not deleting and then deleting and then not deleting videos because I'm struggling. I don't know if you noticed. If it's still on my channel, you can go check that out, and if it's not, then I can tell you that I like this because the main character stopped pissing me off, and I finally got what all the fuss was about in terms of her being, you know, like a badass. I got that the book was not supposed to be romance heavy, where it's usually something that I need, you know, to enjoy a book, a little bit of romance, and the romance being on the forefront. Here, it was clearly this character's journey, and while it took me a while to get into that, I ended up enjoying it in the end. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. I have so many on this list. Let's just go through everything that I have. I want to read The Girls Have Been by Tess Sharp. I want to read Neon Gods by Katie Robert. That's actually going to be a video, hopefully, if I survive this summer. I want to read Lion Mates. I want to read She Drives Me Crazy. I wanted to read that for Pride Month, but you don't need an explanation. You already get it. I want to read Heartstopper Volume 4. Oh my god. I want to read Yes Daddy by Jonathan Parks. These are all new releases. That's hilarious to me. That's not it. There's a lot more. Do you need more? Do you want more? Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. You didn't notice because of the cut, but I just spent 10 minutes on Goodreads trying to figure out when new releases come in, because I don't know. I've never really followed that. And I did not figure it out. Honestly, right now I'm just focused on reading all the books I already have on my TBR rather than being excited about new releases, because new releases just means I'm gonna want to read them as well, and it's been a little overwhelming. Biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment. It's not going to be the biggest disappointment because once again my reading has been shit, but I read Lessons in Sin by Pan Godwin recently. By recently I mean like 2 days ago, and she wrote another book that I really love. I think it's called Dark Notes. Yeah, that's a student teacher, like a romance. It's dark, it has BDSM elements, it's a fun book, and I really love that one, and I thought I would really like this one as well, even though it has like a Christianity theme to it, and that kind of is like a little but I liked it. I liked the longing, I liked the repressed sexual tension, all of it was great. except for like a few aspects related to the dynamics between the characters. It's that post 50 Shades phenomena of I have to fix him with my magic vagina, which I'm just not a fan of personally. Like, I get that that's an element in a lot of BDSM books and a lot of like dark romances, but personally I do like the ones that subvert that genre and say like, oh well, she doesn't need to fix him because he's perfect the way he is, he just needs to be less of an asshole, and she is also like into whatever he's into. So I like that dynamic rather than the whole he's terrible, I must fix him. Number 6, biggest surprise. Ooh, the fact that I like The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Honestly, hated Maria Zapata's last book. I talked about this in the wrap-up. It might not be up, so I'm just gonna say it again. I hated her football one. What was it called? Culty, I think. I think it was called Culty. Hated it because it was slow, and I don't really love slow burn romances. And this is also a slow burn romance, but for some reason it worked. Like, I mean, I gave it 4 out of 5. I didn't give it 5 stars. I didn't absolutely love it. I did think there were some parts which dragged on a little bit. I mean, I was just waiting for these characters to at least form a friendship already, and it was like halfway through the book I was like, come on guys, let's move this thing along. But I did really like it, and I was listening to the audiobook, and the audiobook was really good. It like gripped me. I was up until like 4 a.m. I thought I would pass out with it. I did not pass out with it. So yeah, that was a surprise. Yeah. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? I haven't read anything by any new authors this entire year. Oh my god. So I read The Kiss Quotient a while back. Didn't absolutely love it like a lot of other people. I gave it, what, 3 out of 5. I gave it 3 out of 5, but that's a good rating. This year, my rating system went from if it makes me laugh or I smile once at it, it's a 5-star, to unless this is the greatest thing on the planet, I'm going to give it like 3 or less, which is weird for me, but I don't know. I rate on how I feel, and that's how I feel, so. But 3 I decided is now a good rating for me for a romance. 4 is if it subverts my expectations and I absolutely like have a grand time, and 5 if I love it beginning to end and none of the characters annoy me. Shockingly here, or rather unshockingly, whatever the opposite of shockingly is, unsurprisingly perhaps, the characters did annoy me a little bit. There was just a little bit part at the end where I was like, oh, what are you doing? I mean, it has absolutely fantastic reviews, except for this one I'm reading right now, which is just, this book had the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to come into my home where I pay the bills and let me down. Chai, I feel you. Chai, I feel you. The question was about the author, and I did like her writing style. I found her characters to be very realistic, and I liked the representation and the interesting like aspects that made the book itself. So I would be very excited to read more of her work. I want to read The Bright Test next, and then The Heart Principle, which I believe is coming out soon. I can use that for the previous question. I'm not gonna edit it, but think about it. If you're watching this, that's what was used for the previous question. Yep, it's coming out in August. It's coming out August 31st, so that's the new release I'm excited for. There you go. Newest fictional crush. So, judging on the fact that I'm not 12 anymore, no, okay, obviously I still have fictional crushes, I just don't really have any this year. Wow, shocking. Come on, there's gotta be something. Men don't do it for me anymore this year. I mean...
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Which is why we don't really have a fictional crush. Maybe the main character from Sugar, this book, which is just like a random henchman book I picked out. I think it's like 12th in the series. This girl was just an absolute fucking disaster the entire book. She was incredible. She had like rainbow hair and tattoos and piercings, and I think she read like snuff fiction or something. Maybe her. Like, if I have to pick anyone out of my reading year, it would be her. Book that made you cry. These questions assume I'm reading a lot more than I am. The most emotional person on the planet has not read a single book that made them cry this year. I don't know if that's a win or a loss. Though I am very much planning to read this very soon, and I'm hoping, I'm praying for tears. If I don't have tears, I'm gonna just assume I'm dead inside and don't know where to go from there, because I am a very emotional person. Question number 11. What is a book that made you happy? A book that made me happy. There are a lot of books that made me happy this year. Like, even though it's been a weird reading year, there have been a lot of books that made me happy. Den of Vipers, the first book I read this year, made me happy in a really, like, what the fuck's going on in this book way. Queen of Nothing made me happy because that was just fun all around. But a book that, like, made me feel joy would have to be The Hating Game. I gave The Hating Game 3 out of 5, but that's because the ending, like the third act, kind of played out and I was just not in it at that time. But the beginning was hilarious. When they were playing the HR game, I was laughing aloud, like full-blown hysterical laughter. I thought it was a really funny book and I had a grand time reading it. So yeah, that one probably. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. Bought! Okay, excellent. Because my god, have I bought a lot of books this year and have not read a single one. I really like the cover of Call Me By Your Name. Who's surprised? This is the movie cover, but I really like this movie cover. But the most beautiful cover I think I bought this year would have to be Dune. I really like this book cover. It's a paperback, and it's a gigantic paperback. And maybe one day, maybe. But I just really like this cover. I think it looks super fucking cool. Look at it. Does it not? What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I touched a little bit on this in the, what was that question? New release you haven't read yet but want to. Like, those are all the books that I feel that I need to get to. But I think there's been a couple that are based on mythology that came out this year. There's been more than a couple. Or maybe it's just that I've looked for one and suddenly all my recommendations were based on mythology books. But there are so many fantasy romance books based on Greek mythology that I decided I really want to read. Starting from Neon Gods, but then moving on to like more fantasy elements, because I think that's like maximum paranormal, if not even that. So I really want to get to those. There are some literal. Wow, okay, we're not gonna even try. We're not even try. Okay, so lit fiction books that I have started but haven't finished yet, and I really want to finish them by the end of the year. These are books like Luster, Swimming in the Dark. I think it's called Swimming in the Dark, I might be wrong. This Is How You Start a Time War, though I'm not sure that one fits the genre. So, final question is favorite book community member. I'm gonna go with two people that everyone already probably watches because they are pretty big right now, and also the only ones that I just see on my page like all the time. The amount of work these people put into their videos is insane. The amount of work they like out. It's just, The Devil Works Hard, but Carly and Jack work harder. Absolutely amazing. I love them to the depth of my soul. So thank you so much for making videos. Oh my god, just thank you. Because I can watch their videos and pretend that I'm reading, even though I'm not reading, really. No, it's alright. I'll be fine. School's done. I have a whole summer ahead of me. Well, I have half the summer ahead of me, and I'm hoping to read quite a bit more. And I'm also officially no longer going to be going to lectures from next year. So once again, hoping I'm gonna get to read a lot more. That is actually it. I managed to fit this entire video into like the space I had before I had to go to work, so I'm super proud of myself. Subscribe if you want. There might be a new video in 6 months. There might not be. Okay, thank you. Bye.